This podcast may not be for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Deep within the murky waters of Mexico, a legend has long been whispered about. La Tlanchana, the mesmerizing mermaids of a bygone era. Their tale weaves back through the shadows of pre-Hispanic times, a haunting melody echoing across the centuries. Prepare yourself, for in this episode, I'll plunge you into the chilling legend of La Tlanchana and the eerie obsession of one man consumed by their aquatic allure. In the heart of central Mexico, where the shadows of Toluca Valley fall heavy, whispers of the Mazatlinca civilization still linger. This ancient indigenous culture, with roots entwined in the very earth of the classic Mesoamerican period, birthed the enigmatic legend of La Tlanchana. Amidst the unforgiving volcanic soil, the Mazatlincas survived and thrived, their legacy etched into the temples, pyramids, and ingeniously sustainable farms they carved from their unyielding land. The Mazatlinca civilization thrived into the late 15th century when the Aztecs invaded their land and took over. Before the Aztec invasion, the legend of La Tlanchana filled the land. She was a powerful deity, half woman, half water creature. She spent her days laying half naked behind the tool in the grass on an island. She wore a crown of beads and belt made of fish, crayfish, and salamanders. In the shadowy depths of Mazatlinca Valley lakes, La Tlanchana, the creature of this legend, reigned. This mermaid's form shifted with her mood, her tail becoming the tail of a serpent when she sings and stalks prey. Though if she was in a good mood, she would flip her black serpent tail to help fishermen gain fish in their nets. Other times, her tail transformed into a gleaming green tail of a mermaid when she glided through the dark waters, using her beauty as a snare and her voice a deadly enchantment, luring those who cross her path. Once Tlanchana lured a man, they were doomed. Dragged beneath the waves by her coiling serpent tail, never to resurface. Yet whispers hint at a darker power within Tlanchana. Should she ever fall in love, her tail would transform into human legs. It was believed that she possessed the otherworldly ability to foresee the future, and Mazatlincas would often summon her to unravel the tangled threads of the fates. To satisfy her dark appetites, they would toss flowers, fruits, and even the occasional trembling human into the murky depths of her domain. Tlanchana was a capricious goddess. Cross her or reject her at your own risk. For if her wrath were provoked, she would drag the unfortunate soul into the inky blackness under the water, never to be seen again. Seeing Tlanchana was almost always a bad omen. In the time the Spanish conquered the Aztecs and ruled the land, fishermen would begin giving offerings to Tlanchana in hopes of boating safely or just simply a good bounty of fish. During this time, a Spanish priest declared that Tlanchana was a demon, and any worship of her should cease. This led to a modification of the legend. Tlanchana began to be described as a joyful, sweet, beautiful woman with the flipper of a dolphin, a far stretch from the description of her being powerful and divinatory. I love the tale of Tlanchana, and while it's said it's a bad omen to see her, I guess I'd risk it. Kind of like Moreno did. He was a very popular Mexican celebrity who was obsessed with mermaids and his ultimate wish was to marry a mermaid. Yeah, I said marry a mermaid. Let's chat about Mario Moreno. Moreno was born August 12, 1911. He was considered to be the most accomplished Mexican comedian throughout Latin America and Spain. Mario was born in Santa Maria in a neighborhood of Mexico City. He was one of 8 children. His father, Pedro, was a mail carrier, and his mother, Soledad, came from a very affluent family, though she was disowned once she married Pedro. As a teen, Mario began performing and traveling with Mexico City's Carpa tent show. He would sing and dance and at times perform as a clown, an acrobat, and even a bullfighter. During this time with the traveling tents, he acquired the nickname Cantinflas. The name Cantinflas was invented to prevent his parents from knowing he was performing in the entertainment world. This occupation would be considered shameful by his parents. While performing with the Carpa, he met his wife Valentina, who was of Russian ethnicity. Mario went on to marry Valentina, and his career as a performer grew, moving on to theater and then major movies. At times, Mario or his character Cantinflas would be compared to the English actor Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin himself stated that he believed Mario Moreno to be the greatest comedian in the world. By 1956, Mario had broken into Hollywood, being cast in the movie Around the World in 80 Days. Based on the success of this movie, he was labeled the world's highest paying actor at $1.5 million a year. In 1961, Mario had a son, but not with his wife, though Valentina, his wife, adopted the child as her own and raised him alongside Mario. Valentina passed in 1966. Though, at some point in his career, during the height, it is said that Mario Moreno met a strange man named Carlos in a Mexico City bar. He told the man his fame and fortune were not enough, and he wanted his greatest wish to come true. He wanted to marry a mermaid. The man gave Mario a quartz and instructed him to build a house in Acapulco. He was given specific instructions. He stated the house needed to have a clear view of the ocean, and Mario would need to erect a statue of himself facing the sea, so the mermaids could see him. He also stated that Mario would need to stand next to the statue at exactly 2 a.m. to fulfill his dream. Mario built the mansion, valued at $13 million, and spent summers there with his wife and son throughout the years. The home contained sculptures of mermaids and artwork depicting fish and other sea creatures. The legend goes on to say that the actor began to see mermaids. The mermaids would visit the many saltwater pools he built with the openings to the ocean. It is said Mario even held secret parties with mermaids every night at 2 a.m. Mario was a lifelong smoker and died of lung cancer on April 28, 1993. Though he passed in Mexico, he was honored by the United States Senate. They held a moment of silence for him. Though the actor only created 2 films in the U.S., he was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. His mermaid-attracting mansion still stands in Acapulco, though it is in ruin. It is said that to this day, the mermaids visit his home in search of Cantinflas. Tourists often visit the location and report that strange things happen, and disembodied voices are heard. Some say you can even hear the mermaids singing in an attempt to lure their victims into the water. Do you believe in La Tlanchana, or the various forms of mermaid legends, the sirens, the goddess Atargatas, and basically the many other versions of mermaids from across the cultures? It's hard to say whether Mario Cantinflas Moreno accomplished his goal of meeting mermaids or taking one as a wife. I guess we leave this one to the dark waters of the unexplained realms. The residents of Acapulco fully embrace this legend. They truly believe there was mermaid parties and often will say Cantinflas gave the mermaids his home. These days you can take boat tours to see the statue of Moreno that stands at the end of his property. Directly below that statue is another sculpture of a mermaid holding onto a rock below his feet. Mario's son inherited his home, but tragically he passed in 2017, leaving his home to his widow, Tita. Tita is currently in negotiations with the city government of Mexico to transform the home into a museum, and it will include items that actually belong to the actor. Tita firmly believes that the possessions of Cantinflas do not belong to anyone but the people of Mexico. I low-key want to meet a mermaid too. But seriously, head back to the beginning of the show because they don't sound so nice. Once again, we've come to the end. So my friends, until next time, buena onda.